because even on that radar show that you guys are doing,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, even on that radar show, they won't mention me. It's like and they don't have to by any kind of laws or anything, but I mean, it just seems like you think that they would at least acknowledge that I'm on the ballot. So I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying that it's
Well,
you,
no,
you understand what I'm saying, right? It's
I do
hard.
understand what you're saying.
It was hard to get here, and I know it's a pay to play environment, and the other two candidates have given, and it's a company. Well, you guys work for a company, so I mean, and it needs to have funds, but it gives that appearance that it's not about democracy. It's about influence, and I don't have the influence.
So you're saying because they pay for advertising that they get press?
It's not only I'm saying that, I'm saying that that's the perception that people have. And it's not, I don't know what else to say, because that it's not, maybe it's because I don't have a $80,000 PR person who calls you guys all the time with dumb little stories about something. But just to be mentioned 55 mentions me, 15 has been more than fair. They've included me in their huge debate. So.
Well, if you want to talk after, we can do that.
Okay.
Well, why don't we start by talking about the debate? You keep saying you're not a politician, but you do have ideas for bettering the city. Let's talk about the Southeast Side. We are here right now. You said you don't want to call it the Southeast Side anymore.
No, I think
Tell me
that
why.
because when we say it's the Southeast Side of Fort Wayne, we're labeling it as the side. I mean, every time that you hear something negative, Southeast Side of Fort Wayne. I live on the south side of Fort Wayne, and we have crime out there too. So one thing that we can do is just call it the south side of Fort Wayne, from one side all the way across to the other. Northeast, northwest. They seem to argue a little bit because northwest seems nicer than northeast. So I really think that's the starting point. I like to break things down to the smallest denominator when you're looking at how to take things back to basics, like I want to do with the administration. When you start to spend too much money on something, even in a corporation, like when you go in and manage a corporation, you have to take it back to the basics. What's the core basics that it needs? Boost the morales of the staff members, and make sure that your customers are happy. Provide them with the right kind of merchandise. That's what the city needs, and that's what I want to do.
You gave Mayor Tom Henry a fair amount of criticism today about how the police department's been managed, how there's not enough officers on the streets. Can you explain that and kind of how it relates to the Southeast Side?
Well, when Neil Moore was the police chief, things were a lot better. Neil Moore has a class, teaches a certain type of policing that we don't even utilize in Fort Wayne. And it's ironic that he does teach it right here at the university. It's successful in other communities. I am critical, not of the police officers, of the way that the administration takes the Fort Wayne administration and the police department. I think they have too many layers. And there isn't a company out there that has that many people reporting to that many people. We've taken away our motorcycle division. We've taken away our horse division, traffic division, and so now we have police. It seems aimlessly running around, not doing one thing. So not every aspect of it is wrong, but the tracking system for the police cars. The money could have been better spent, even though it was a federal grant, could have been better spent on something the community needed. There's no sense in tracking a police car. They're not using it for public safety. That's how it was sold to the community. It was supposed to be sold as it was a safer environment. For the police officer, they would know where they were at. But we all know that if the police officer is ran 3 blocks away from his car, we'd never find him. So really all it is to watch to where they're at. Another thing is I'm disappointed in the way we handle when a police officer has an incident in the city. And I'm speaking in reference with the DUIs or driving while intoxicated. If you're a semi-truck driver and you have a DUI, you lose your commercial driver's license, so you can't drive. And on the police department, you get suspended. So I think that we need some changes like that. 12 years for one administrator. We need fresh ideas brought in there. So it's not necessarily a dig at the chief of police. I just think we need more proactive instead of reactive policing.
Would you be in favor of seeing more police walk the beat? Is that part of it? Is it a community disconnect? What? No, yes, okay. You've mentioned administrative problems, but crime is down in the city. So I guess your focus is strictly on the administrative stuff, or how does that pertain? I guess
I don't necessarily think crime is down in the city. I think that some crime isn't reported at all. And I know that to be a fact, that not all crime is reported, because when every single car on my street was broken into last summer, nobody called the police because there's no point in it. So really, there was 30 breaking and enterings or vandalism or whatever you want to, that weren't reported. And it's also how you report crime that matters, because if you're calling in something under their telephone program, that doesn't necessarily go to the right statistic that I think it needs to go to. Personally, I was just touring one of my locations, and I'm standing there, and I saw a lady take 2 bottles of Tide off the shelf, walk out the door, almost hit a car leaving. That's a crime. Was she caught? No. So petty crime will lead you to larger crimes, because obviously she's addicted to something that requires her to steal merchandise to go sell, and so that type of crime is not down. And that crime right there is the crime that hurts the most, because you pay more in money, because we have to make up the difference in retail for the stuff that's stolen. But go ask retailers if they think crime is down in the city, and they'll tell you absolutely not.
Okay. I think the statistics show that it is down 14% right now. You say that she was addicted to something. Are you alleging that she was addicted to a drug, or?
I would venture to say that she was.
That's just speculation, or?
By her appearance, right.
Okay.
There was some
Would you think that she? Why would you think that she wouldn't be if she's small? And you've seen drug addicted people before, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it was obvious that there was some sort of influence.
Okay.
There was some debate about lowering the mayor's budget. How do you feel about budgets? Do you think we spend too much? If you were mayor, would you lower your own pay?
I said when I was up there that I didn't think it should be a publicity stunt, but you look at how much the mayor makes, and he is right that when you're doing that much work and you're working, if he's working 12, 13 hours a day, and on weekends, and it can't just be on election year. That's not that much money. It's an average salary for the type of position I think that he would be doing. So I thought that it would, not as a publicity stunt, but I think everybody could lower their wage. I didn't take a raise through the Depression because I didn't think it was fair. The first year of the recession, I should call it, I did not take, one wasn't offered, but I went to all our staff and told them that we couldn't give them one. The year after that, I didn't want one because I wanted the staff to be able to have a little bit more. So, do I think that you need to make more money? Absolutely not. I think that's a fair salary.
How do you feel about, how would you combat wasteful?
We need to look at everything. And even when I'm campaigning, you learn a lot. And that's one thing about me, is I'm not willing to say that I was wrong about something. Because what may appear to be wasteful spending isn't wasteful spending. The street department, cleaning the roads, they do a wonderful job, right? We can all agree when we get out of our house, the streets are clean. But are we buying the products at the right times? In other words, are we buying the salt at the correct times when we can save even more money? So we need to start looking at it like it's other people's money and not just a big pile of money to be spent at my leisure. You know, you always have to keep in mind it has to be the most effective bang for the buck.
Is there an area where money's being wasted? I mean, we can't just assume that money's being wasted.
I think Citizen Square was wasting money. So that was a waste of money. I mean, that was supposed to be a police department. We bought a building to put the policemen in, and in my opinion, we paid too much for the building itself. And we could have built something that housed all divisions of the police department. And you want to talk about saving money, we could have moved everybody into one and then sold off some other properties that right now, if you need your radio fixed, I guess you have to go way out on Coliseum, back down to the police department, and then maybe over the jail. So we could have built something a lot cheaper. But Citizen Square, in my opinion, was a total waste of taxpayers' dollars. And if you remember, it was done because it was going to be done. It wasn't done with, a lot of people didn't say, hey, that we need this, and investigate it. All of a sudden, we just bought it, and then you don't like it, too bad, we're done with it.
Anything we're leaving out? Or what were your general feelings about the debate today?
I thought it went well. I would like to see more people get involved and participate in the process, because then they'll better understand some of the areas in local government. And call your councilman, and if I'm elected, there's going to be a filter to get to me, but I'm going to get to people. I'm not going to take, every single phone call, obviously, but I want to be made aware of everything that's going around, because you have to act timely and responsibly to things. So, and I think that I'm more in touch than the other two, because I relate to every walk of life, so I think that's why I'm the best candidate.